I wanted to show you this because, I was a C student in high school. I did a little bit better in college, but you can do this too. You focus, you get your first one done, and then you go on your second, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so this deal here is a result of this pro forma here that I've got. So this is a 7-page pro forma that I give my investors when I've got a live deal. And basically, page 1, picture of the property. Page 2 and 3 is an overview of the property and, 30,000 foot view about the property and how much they got to put in and what their returns are going to be. And then this is where it shows all the numbers on the property. So let me skip to those numbers on this property. Okay, so this is the deal. And I really don't want you to get lost in the details. I want you to see the big picture of this deal. So the fair market value of this house was $299, and I marketed it to my investor for them to purchase at $284. They got a 80% mortgage at $227, which meant that they had to come up with 20% down cash, plus here in Manitoba, land transfer tax, and then lawyer fees for closing. Now, sometimes there's other costs, but that's the bulk of it here. So that meant that my investor needed to come in with 22% and $61,000 approximately, and also qualify for a mortgage with the bank for the amount of $227,200. That is how I pitched the deal to my investor in terms of what money they had to put in. So bottom line, they put in $61,000. This was a projection. They put in to put in $61,000. Now, if you recall, the sandwich lease way that I mostly do them is where the owner buys it, and then at the end of the 3-year term, I purchase it from them for an increased price, and then I turn around and sell it to the tenant buyer for an additional increased price. So what I was agreeing to was to purchase it back off the owner in 3 years for $307.80. Okay, do you remember what they paid for it? Okay, they paid $284, and I was going to buy it off them for that amount. So what that means is over the 36 months, they're going to have mortgage pay down. They're going to mortgage pay down from $227 to $212, and they're going to get their initial investment back of $61K. And so their profit from the sale is $27,000. Okay, so going back to my spreadsheet. So I agreed to purchase it from them for $300. Great. They're going to make $27,000 off that. What about the rest of it? Okay, so my monthly lease payments to them were $1,400. So this is the owner, remember. I got an investor to purchase this property. I've agreed to pay them $1,400 a month rent. That's going to cover their mortgage, taxes, and insurance, and leave a little bit of money for them to go to McDonald's each month. So those are the monthly totals. These are the cumulative totals over the 3 years. So you'll see that there's cash flow profit here of $3,800. Now, whether he goes to McDonald's, Starbucks, dinner, or keeps it in his bank, whatever, that's still profit for them. So their profit on this deal was projected to be $31,429, which works out to be 17% a year, or 52 over the 3 years. So that means that's 17 point something to get to the 52. All right, so this investor puts in $61,000 and gets his $61,000 back and makes $31,000 on this deal. So let me continue on this deal. So that's the one side of the sandwich deal. Now I'm going to show you my side. You'll see these fields have been re-entered back into it. So I found a tenant buyer, and I'm going to show you some paperwork in a second of the contracts. I found a tenant buyer who was pre-qualified with us, meaning that they had enough income. Basically, I'm pre-qualifying them for what the bank is looking for. They had enough income in terms of their debt servicing. The debt servicing ratios were intact. And I told them not to purchase a car or anything dear, and they did very good. They purchased a car shortly after they got their mortgage approved, and they owned the property. And they had a little bit of money to put down. Yeah, so we agreed that they would purchase the house in 3 years for $329,000. Now, so that meant that on that day, I think it was right in middle of 2020. On that day, I was going to purchase this property from the owners for $300,000 and turn around and sell to the tenant buyers for $329,000. And that's what happened. So the tenant buyers put up $5,000 up front as their option consideration. And then each month on top of the $1,400 rent, they paid an additional $340 a month. And I credited all $340 back to them. So after 36 months, they've got $340 times 36 plus the $5,000. So for those of you who are trying to figure out how much I make, well, essentially it's a difference between these two numbers, which is, approximately $28,000. Is that good? Depends on what you think is good. I feel it's fantastic because I put $100 into the deal with the owners. I'm not showing you that contract here. And my time and my expertise, I put together this deal, and I got monthly cash flow of $340, and I got an upfront deposit of $5,000, right? So that covered my vacancy costs if they were to leave, all that sort of stuff. So my profit on this deal over the 3 years was approximately $28,000. I got $5,000 upfront. I got $340 each month for 36 months. And then when the deal closed, I received a little bit more money. So in a second here, I'm going to go to the two offer to purchases that I've got on this deal. And I'm going to show them to you so that you can see that these numbers are real. All right. So this is the purchase contract. It says here March, but I believe, maybe it was March. I thought we ended in summer for some reason. So as you can see, I've blotted out my investor's name. This was my numbered company that ran this deal. And the agreed purchase price was $300,780. A deposit of $100. There's my $100 check that I gave them right at the get-go of the deal to make it legally binding. And then it says by cash, mortgage, or combination thereof, the additional amount, which totals $300,780. So this is the contract, page 1 of the sandwich lease with my investor. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the contract, the offer to purchase with a tenant buyer. And it's a different looking contract simply because this one here is the standard MLS contract. This one here is done up by my lawyer, and there's reasons why I do that. I won't go into detail here. But you can see here that the purchase price on this one was $329,284, and I received $17,240 from them via option payments, right? So on the other one where I showed $100, that was just a $100 check. That might have been a check for $1,000 or $10,000, doesn't really matter. It showed that money coming in. This shows that the payments came in via the option payments, which means over time, right? So typically what happens is the bank will likely want to see the paperwork on the option. Sometimes they don't, but they will also, if you're new to this with the bank, they'll want to see proof of that money coming in. So I just print out our QuickBooks, and it shows, $5K going in, and then the $340 going in separately each month. That adds up to $17,240. So we close this deal. They purchase it for $329,000. It had an appraisal, an appraised fine, all that sort of stuff. So that's how I did this deal. That's how I've done the majority of my deals, simply because I don't have to qualify with the bank. I don't have to come up with 20% down, and I can do these over and over again, right? So this was a deal that I put together. I found the property, and I put together my 7-page pro forma for the investor. The other way that I do these sandwich deals is I find tired and frustrated landlords, and that's where they already own the property and they're looking to be a problem solver. And after that, I ended up doing 39 more of those deals in the following 5 years. Like in 5 years, I did a total of 40 of these sandwich lease deals, all with $100. So I'm not saying it to brag. I'm just saying that, you get creative and you work with people to make win-wins. And so for me, that enabled me to quit my day job. Actually, I quit my day job in the first year. I quit my day job after I did my first one. I don't necessarily recommend that, because that's kind of like you've got all the pieces to a parachute in your hands. Part of it's strapped over your shoulder, the rest of it's in your hand. You're jumping out of the plane. That's kind of what I did. But I did have a reserve parachute that was all ready to go in case I didn't get the main chute done. So I don't necessarily recommend that, but I wanted to show you this because, I was a C student in high school. I did a little bit better in college, but you can do this too. You focus, you get your first one done, and then you go on your second, all that sort of stuff. So